Good morning. I hope you all are feeling okay. I'm going to start with something kind of heavy, but I promise it does improve. Today, and for many months this past year, friends, families, and neighbors have been arrested without cause, held without reason and right. Some of these people are then sent to a country they never come from, held in a prison with others they don't know. There are people in this country that are supporting violence that will likely end in another never-ending conflict. There are people in this country who are hiding and protecting evil men that have perpetrated heinous crimes against women and girls. There are people who wish to target minorities and immigrants and make them the enemy. There are people looking to stoke fear and discontent in our communities. There are people working to make these changes into law and enforce their beliefs on others. There are people lying and fabricating stories to support these narratives. And then there are people who refuse to look past their own front door and recognize that this evil is happening around them. Times are grim. Things feel overwhelming. The will of powerful negative forces feels insurmountable. So let's take a break from reality, talk about something not real. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan. I've listened to the books, I've watched the movies, I've played all the board games. Now, if you're not familiar with Lord of the Rings, I want to warn you, I am going to spoil major plot points for a 75-year-old book and 25-year-old films. So if you haven't had the opportunity, time's up. So we're going to jump into a little bit of background. For those of you that know Lord of the Rings, this is going to be a lot of the same. But for those of you who don't, now I'm spoiling it. So nobody wins. The Lord of the Rings is a fantasy series with elves and men and hobbits, which are like men but smaller, and dwarves, which are also like small men but different from hobbits. There are great forces of evil. There are orcs, which are elves, which were twisted into evil beings, and goblins, which is pretty self-explanatory. There's Uruk-hai, which are like orcs, but stronger breed, and they were created by Saruman the White in Orthanc, in the pits of Orthanc, and, sorry, got ahead of myself there. Lord of the Rings just follows the journey of Frodo, a hobbit, that ends up with the one ring of power and his journey to destroy this ring. This ring represents evil. This ring is relentless. It corrupts the people that hold it. And most of all, the ring wants to be back with its master. Frodo goes through many challenges. He faces great monsters. He starts with a large group of allies, a fellowship, and then eventually he ends up lost and alone with just one friend and a corrupted guide. During the story, the author J.R.R. Tolkien poses a question to the reader several times. Why does evil feel so all-devouring and goodness so fragile? Why does it feel so easy to give in to despair and so hard to hold on to hope? At many times in the story, it feels as if there is no hope for our heroes. It's easy for them to fall into despair. And if despair is more powerful than hope, is all of their lives and their actions not just a denial of their inevitable doom? If despair is the more powerful force, will it not just eventually consume everything? If the world of Middle-earth and their existence is just a slow fall into darkness, why not just give up and surrender? Why do they pretend to have a fighting chance? So Frodo's carrying the One Ring. This ring was created by the Dark Lord Sauron. More exposition, I apologize. And he created several rings, but this single ring controlled all the others. In Middle-earth, Sauron is the epitome of evil. He is the big bad. The ring corrupts all those that hold it. The ring is an overwhelming force. Boromir succumbs to the seduction of the ring and attempts to take it from Frodo. Both Gandalf and Galadriel resist the ring, and this is seen as a personal victory. But even though they resisted its power, the creep towards darkness is inevitable. The battle, and continuous. It's inevitable and continuous. The battle here is a passive one. It's not cinematic. It's a personal choice. To claim a victory against the ring, in this sense, is decided less by what one does and more by what one doesn't do. By not sacrificing one's integrity, by not giving in to temptation, by resisting the ring. Sorry, I lost my place there. Evil appears to be the stronger force, one that you cannot hold nor break. But maybe that's what evil wants you to think. Now, in the third book, The Return of the King, Gandalf and Pippen, Gandalf is a wizard and Pippen is another hobbit, friend of Frodo. They're riding for Minas Tirith, a massive castle, and it's the de facto capital of the race of men. In the books, as they ride for Minas Tirith, they see these beacons light up along the mountains, and they recognize that this is Gondor calling for help from the other nations. But in the movies, this scene is different. When Gandalf and Pippin arrive, they don't see any fires on the mountains. Instead, they find a city dejected. The caretaker, Denithor, is standing in for the king whose lineage has been missing for many years. He has assumed the role of the king. He feels very confident in this role. And in the films, he's obdurate. See, instead of the beacons being lit, Denithor refuses to light the beacons in the movies. Now, Denithor isn't evil, but he doesn't see any point in calling for help. He sees the armies of evil gathering outside of his castle. He accepts it. Gondor has been in decline for many ages. They've been fighting and losing the battle against evil for a long time. And this is the final battle. It's over. Denithor represents all the pessimism and the apathy and the nihilism in the films. In many ways, he represents a version of many characters in the story that at one point felt they could stand on the sidelines. They could avoid having to fight for what they hold dear. They could align themselves with their aggressors in such a way that they could come out unscathed. Denithor has made the decision to doom himself and his people. So this is the biggest change where the books and the movies kind of divide. Gandalf tells Pippin to go and light the beacons. Now, Pippin isn't the bravest hobbit, nor is he the smartest hobbit. In fact, he really just enjoys a good pipe and 7 solid meals a day. But it's in this moment that Pippin finds his courage, and he climbs the tower of Minas Tirith to light the beacon. There's no guarantee that lighting this beacon will do anything. Pippin could easily light the first one, and none of the rest would light. But that's the thing about hope. Not only is hope active, it's consequential. It seems foolish for Pippin to risk his life to climb this tower to light a beacon. Denithor has already said, there's no reason to light it. We know that the kingdom of Rohan was attacked and barely survived. At this point in the story, the readers know where Frodo is, but the characters don't. Frodo could have died. He could be captured. Why take the chance? Why put trust in those that might betray you? To hope is to take a leap of faith. And that's what we see. In the film, the camera sweeps above the mountains of New Zealand, standing in for the mountains of Middle-earth. And one by one, a beacon is lit. The guards of each beacon see the prior one, jump up in shock, rise to their posts, and instantly activate and light their own beacons, passing the message along to the other kingdoms of Middle-earth. Gondor calls for aid. But for now, nothing happens. What we see is a great battle unfolds at Minas Tirith. Dragon-like creatures called fell beasts sweep the sky and cause havoc below. Orcs and goblins and other villains pour through the gates of the castle and begin to pillage the city. Screams echo against the wall as civilians find themselves caught in the battle. Then a horn sounds. Then another horn sounds. And the invading force pauses and looks north. Over a hill arrives one rider on a horse. Then he's followed by 1,000. With additional armies arriving, the tide of the battle turns, and our heroes emerge battered, yet victorious. Now that's the majority of the third book, so sorry. But when I started this, I began with a list of all the evil things I could think of from this past year. And even then, so much has happened, I can't even remember all the things I might have forgotten. These are truly dark times. We are standing in the castle, watching as the forces of darkness surround us. But we have an opportunity. We have a choice. We can choose to be Denithor. We can admit defeat. It feels like we're losing. It feels like we've been losing for a long time. Or we can choose hope. We can choose to take the risk, to light the beacon, to call for help, to stand against all those that want to destroy us. Hope ultimately proves itself to be a unifying force, an ever-spreading fire that only grows stronger through its presence in others, and one that can never truly be extinguished as long as there is someone willing to ignite that first spark. Thank you.
Please rise in mind, body, or spirit. Though below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home.
As we leave this sacred time that we've created together, rooted in love and expressed in our shared values, we hope it has yielded something nourishing, beneficial, and connective. And although we extinguish this flame here today, my hope is that you remember great deeds can be done by small people. Do not give in to despair. Do not give in to apathy. Continue to hold on to hope and continue to carry the flame. Let us go singing.
Thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on. Greet the infinite sea before me, Sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.